audience. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please send them in on whatever platform you're on. We're on all three platforms right now. I just had several gear things kind of rattling around in my head. Obviously, the R5 is super big on my kind of wish list coming out from Canon. I'm really excited about us being able to. Were you showing your face on there?
By accident.
So there you go. You just met Ariel.
Hi guys, what's up? I was waving to a couple of you, and yep, that was
That's
great.
hilarious. Anyway, so thoughts about gear. R5, I'm just super excited about the R5 because I want a great 4K video that doesn't have a crop factor and gives me an excellent output. I'm not a huge fan of all I because it's just so cumbersome. Motion JPEG when you're doing motion JPEG. So I'm hoping, well, that's probably too much to ask for. But my thought is I'd love to have a great codec on the R5 with a 10-bit 422 internal recording would just make me so super happy. But anyway, because I love Canon, I use Canon. I have C200, I have the R. I also love Sony. I've got the A7R3. I use both those platforms, which is the next thing. So I'm super excited about the R and what Canon's going to do there, and that announcement is very, very exciting to me. The second one is Tamron comes out with their 75 or their 70 to 180 millimeter telephoto lens for that Sony platform, which is the first two lenses they've given us in that, the 28 to 75. 28 to 75 is just a landmark lens, and I'm hoping that to get this new one because now you have the Trinity, those three lenses. So I'm super excited about that coming out. I'm just guessing with the Olympics and everything going on, we probably won't see any huge announcements from as far as still photography goes from either Sony, Canon. We've seen some great ones from Fuji just the last little bit with the X-T4. I mean, we've just seen some nice things happening, but I think we're gonna be a little calm for a while. So anyway, we'll just see how that pans out. But anyway, we got a question?
Yeah. What's a great lens for the new Nikon Z6 when shooting sports and portrait, but on a budget?
Sports and portrait on a budget. You know, Tamron makes an incredible 100 to 300 millimeter lens that it's a little long for portraits, but if you're doing sports, it's a great lens, and that's a reasonable lens. It's fascinating how the aftermarket lens companies have really stepped up and are giving us great lenses, and that's a great one there. It is a variable aperture lens, but I think it's an excellent and a reasonably priced lens, 100 to 300 millimeter. That would be my first thought. I mean, when you get into a 150 to 600 millimeter, I mean, that's really, you're now seriously into wildlife and things. And for sports, it's a great platform for sports. But I think you're probably, if you want to try to mix those two, do portraits and that 100 to 300 is probably your best bet. And it's probably one of the more reasonable lenses out there. So I hope, my mind gets numbers mixed up occasionally, but that 100 to 300 is a great platform.
Sweet. Just brought the Tamron 100 to 400 millimeter.
100 to 400. Dang it! I knew I did that.
And I love it for shooting sports and wildlife.
100 to 400. That, I don't know why I said 100 to 300. That 100 to 400. When we were in Africa, Jillian was shooting on that lens. I had the 150 to 600 millimeter Tamron lens, and Jillian had the 100 to 400. She got some great images of wildlife with that lens on safari in Africa. So excellent lens for that sports, and I think you could use that lens for doing portraiture. You know, I shoot a 90 millimeter, that 90 millimeter 2.8 all the time. So I mean, it's really within the realm of reality. You could use that as a portrait lens. You have to get back just a little bit, but just shoot at 100 millimeters and probably get a pretty decent portrait.
Someone asked, what's your favorite brand from YouTube? So we're live on all three right now, which is exciting.
It is exciting. We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
So what's your favorite camera brand if you had to pick one?
Oh, man.
Oof, I know.
Favorite camera brand if I had to pick one. I love, I can go across the board. The Nikon D850 is an incredible picture, and a beautiful picture. Canon, the 1DX series has been great. I absolutely love the Mark IV is an excellent camera. I love my C200. The Sony series, I wish I had the Sony A7R4 because it's such a large megapixel. It's hard for me to say, but if you were to really twist my arm and I just had to pick one, I probably would pick Canon just because I'm so deep into all my Tamron lenses are Canon mount. because I went through that series of the Mark II, the Mark III, the Mark IV, you know, so it's been that, because of glass, that's probably the reason I'd make it. Although, with the new Tamron lenses, I've got a great system there with the Sony as well, so there you go. You twisted my arm. I guess it's Canon. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I kind of expected you to say.
Is it?
I don't know. You just use Canon a lot.
I do use Canon a lot. I
Yeah.
do.
And someone said, I would say your name, I'm sorry, but your Instagram thing is man with an appetite. So,
Man with an
appetite. Best low light lens for shooting indoors for the Z6. I have the 2270 Tamron.
Do you know what? A lens that people have really overlooked that is an incredible lens is Tamron's 35 millimeter 1.4. That is a beautiful lens. It is people's and my experience with it is way sharper than even what you get in a Nikon, especially Nikon and Canon. I would use, that's a great lens, low light lens, 1.4, excellent lens, and one I would suggest. Beautiful lens. So fast and reasonably priced, and just a great lens.
Canon mount is to some degree a standard, so there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Canon mount really has become to some degree a standard. It really has for still photography, or even like Blackmagic is using it. There's different cinema cameras that are using it as well. It's not uncommon to see a Canon glass on film sets, and that 70 to 200 millimeter Canon lens is incredible. The 70 to 200 millimeter Tamron lens is a fabulous sharp lens as well. So. Anyway, so that Canon mount is not unusual to see that on set.
Yeah, someone here loves the Tokina 100 millimeter macro.
You know, I haven't used the Tokina 100 millimeter macro. I don't know a lot about it. I actually have a Tokina super wide that I use on the C200 sometimes because it's a Super 35 sensor. And so I've used that Tokina, and all of a sudden my mind's blank. I can't remember the number. It's like 11 to... Somebody out there's going to tell me. 11 to 17, I think, Tokina, and it's made for a crop sensor. Why can't I remember the number? Anyway.
That's all right.
Yeah, there's some great Tokina lenses as well.
And our man with an appetite, his name is Joe, and he said, I also own Hasselblad, but I say it wrong every time.
You own Joe with an appetite. He owns the Hasselblad.
The 500 centimeter medium format, is that?
A CM.
CM?
500 CM. So I have the 500 CM. It's a medium
Okay.
format film camera, but they just have the new back that's come out for Hasselblad. I'm excited to get my hands on that. I want to test that because I'd love to be shooting on my Hasselblad again, on my Hasselblad glass and that, which I do with film all the time. But if I was going to get into a digital back, that new back is supposed to be pretty exciting. You can put that on the 500 CM. Anyway, we haven't tested that yet or gotten a hold of it. So that's one that we should be writing down on the list and getting in here to look at. Hasselblad's our friend. They've sent us cameras before, so
we've got.
I shot Hasselblad since before Joe with an appetite was probably born. Maybe not. I don't know.
Everybody comment their age right now.
Here's a comment. Love my Tamron 70 to 200 on my D750.
There you go, 70 to 200. Someone said they love their Tamron 70 to 200 on their D750.
That's from Clint.
Great, Clint. That's a great setup. It really is. That's one of my favorite lenses, that 70 to 200, because it is just sharp and gives you beautiful bokeh. I love that lens a lot.
And we've got a comment from YouTube. Will you ever consider tutorials or live for interior real estate photography?
You know, this is, so the question was, will I ever consider tutorials or live doing real estate photography? I do a fair amount of it, just because my brother sells apartment buildings here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you guys just did a shoot,
right?
right?
We just did one. Julie and I did one a little while ago, and I do it my own way. I shoot the exterior of buildings with strobes at sunset, which is a very unique thing to do. I love the look, and I just think it's interesting, and the people I shoot it for love it as well. So it's just an interesting way to do it. So I should do a tutorial on that. Shooting a building with strobes. You know, that'd be a good thing to do. But anyway, it's a great topic, and it's becoming a stronger, that real estate industry and is expecting good photography and good video now. So it's becoming more and more a standard in that industry, and people are feeling more and more comfortable and becoming more conditioned to spending money on photography, which is a great thing for the industry.
And we heard from John over here. I missed your videos where you were more of a director. Are you going to go back to those again ever?
You know, I love doing those kind of pieces where I was just more in that directorial role. In fact, we just shot one. I think you'll be pleased with. It'll be coming up next Tuesday. No, Thursday. We shot a little story about a girl planting sunflowers.
Oh,
Could get weird.
could get weird. Love that.
Could or couldn't. Probably will.
We've got a comment from YouTube, from Julian on YouTube. Just want to say I've learned so much from you for a long time. Hello from the Canary Islands.
From the Canary Islands. That's awesome. What was his name again?
Julian?
Julian, that's excellent. Canary Islands? I'd love to go to the Canary Islands. Every time somebody talks to Southern Slanted from someplace, I always go, I'd love to go there.
Yeah, can I come
And
visit?
it's true. I'd love to travel everywhere. So I thank you for that comment. You know, doing this it really is a positive thing for me and a great experience when people feel like they gain value from what we do. It's one of the reasons we started our Patreon is because I wanted a place where I could come together with my audience and I could really just teach the things that I think and that they feel. I want to get a response back from them will be of value to them. So we've opened up on Patreon. We got different levels there where you can come and join with that audience. You're going to get this kind of free interaction with me on a very, very regular basis where we can video chat together. It's a platform where we're really exploring that and trying to help move people forward in this experience, whether it's a hobby or it's your way you make money, but just it's become one of our patrons. We would love to have you become a part of that part. As I spit on the ground.
And if anyone has questions about Patreon, I know it's like a new thing to some, and some people have known about it for a long time, but feel free to leave any questions right now in the live chat. We'd love to answer anything.
So we've been doing this for a long time. I love the Slanted Lens. I love what we do there, but Patreon now has become a place where I can really talk about the things that maybe don't play as well on the channel, but really resonate with people who are serious about photography and are excited to be part of that community. So you'll love the things we do there.
Yeah.
So become a patron. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely going more in depth, but our videos will, I say our, I'm the person behind the scenes posting this stuff on socials, but the videos will still be every Thursday as usual with still some
Yeah.
Tuesdays going up.
Won't change.
Yeah.
The Slanted Lens is still on schedule. Won't change a bit on what's going on there. Patreon is just an added in-depth benefit for those who really are serious about it and want to be and enjoy what we do here. So I'd love to see you there. All
Yeah.
right.
And we have a couple more comments on Instagram. You guys are super active on Instagram today, which we love. Man with an appetite, 39 years old from Southern California. Wife bought your camera for you from a pawn shop. That's amazing.
That is amazing. The 500 cm she bought from a pawn shop.
I don't know.
You know, I had an opportunity once. A buddy of mine was working for the police department, and he called me up and he said, "Hey, we have a complete Hasselblad set, and there's like two cameras and like 6 or 8 lenses. We think it was stolen, and we tried to, you know, we put these things in the you know, this wherever when people claim stolen things. No one's claimed it, so they're gonna sell it off." He goes, "They'll probably sell this thing off for like $500 or $600 at an auction." He said, "If you want to come in and say it's yours, we'll give it to you." I said, "But it's not mine." He goes, "But if you said it was, we would give it to you." I can't do that. I just can't do
Your
that.
moral compass got in the way.
Yeah, I'm going, I can't do that. That was years and years ago. Man, my mouth is watering now. I can't do it.
Any advice for someone looking to get into product photography? It's more of a hobby than a job.
You know, product photography, so the question was, any advice on getting into product photography? Yes. I think, first off, go through the laws of light that we have on our channel. The laws of light are going to walk you through some of the basics of just light and separation. But think about the laws of light, even if I'm shooting a person, area of coverage, and being able to feather, and think about all those things in relationship to products. I'm in the middle of teaching a group of people right now product photography and talking about that every 2 or 3 times a week. And so I've given some information on the laws of light, go through that, but start thinking about each one of those laws of light with regards to product photography, and then start shooting things. Look at what's going on out there, what's interesting, and kind of take what's going on out there, what you love to do, and shake that up in a bag, dump it on the ground, and that'll be your style, and you'll get going.
We've got some more from YouTube. Thank you guys for leaving some questions and stuff in the chat there. Johnny's asked, What variable ND filter do you recommend?
Ah, this is a tough one. What variable ND filter do I recommend? I use a variable ND. I use a Tiffin variable ND. I like both of those. But Kenneth has started to use a variable ND that was a Peter McKenna connected with another company, and they made this variable ND. I'm going, really? You bought Peter McKenna's variable ND? And Kenneth's going, it's absolutely spectacular. I haven't seen it yet, haven't used it, but Kenneth swears by it. So I'm going to check that out. I'm going to see. The problem with variable NDs is that you get this crosshatch when you get down to very many stops, like 7 or 8 stops. It starts to give you a crosshatch, and you'll see the vignetting and things that starts to happen. That's a really difficult thing to get away unless you're spending a lot of money on these. This one is pretty expensive. It's not a cheap date by any means. What does that even mean, a cheap date? Anyway, maybe I don't want to know what that means. Anyway, it's not cheap. So this, and I can't remember the name of it. I used to have somebody when we do these live sitting on the computer right there, and they would would give these things to me. So we'll do that
But here I am
next.
holding 3 phones.
I know. Anyway, so that variable ND, I will put that in the notes or whatever. I'll make sure we get that up so you know what that is. But
Yeah.
it's Peter McKenna's variable. If you Google Peter McKenna's variable ND, you will find it. Great ND, but they're very, very expensive. The other thing is color. Color cast is a problem with NDs, and it just, anyway, these are very good.
And we've heard from Moses on Facebook, product photography is very difficult but very rewarding, big time investment.
You know, I would say product photography is very rewarding and a great place to be, but you have to have the personality for it. You have to feel like you can take a product and just work with it and not feel, you got to be a patient individual. I guess that's what I'm saying. Very patient.
You would think you'd have to be more patient with humans because they can't,
I don't find that. I mean, a little kid can be out of control and hard to shoot, or a dog, but it's temporary. It's like they come, they only have a certain length of time, then they have to go home. Products will just sit there and stare at you all night, and if they're not quite looking right, they never want to go home. And so you have to shoot them all night long. And so my personality sometimes just doesn't feel that great about that experience.
Ooh, we've got a question. What are those on the table? Giveaway
can you see these
or?
on here?
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't know
yeah.
you could see
I'm
these
so,
on
yep.
here.
Just teasing you all with these boxes.
I know I pushed those out of the frame.
Oh, there
We have a bunch of equipment we're selling on our Patreon. And so on there, Patreon, sorry. So for patrons that go on there. So if you find, like, this is the first thing to go up, we're selling this at like 50% or more off for those who are on our Patreon. And so there'll be something that goes up every week, and it's going to be sold really super cheap. If it doesn't sell the first time, we'll put it up again even cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we want you to get access to the equipment we use here at the Slanted Lens. The things that mostly have only been used one time. And it isn't that I mean, these are great strobes. I love them, but I can only use so much, and I can only use so many things. So we're going to start selling those off to our audience and make sure you have access to get a hold of all those things. And so that's what these are. These are some of the first things that are going up. So yeah, check that out over at Patreon, The Slanted Lens. And should we wrap this up? I could do this all night long. I love talking to everybody.
Yeah, it's fun.
It
And
is absolutely fun.
You guys have been lively
One
today.
more question.
Yeah.
Here Ken has a comment. He says, I like your videos, and he uses the Nikon D7200, and he loves that camera.
The D7200?
Yeah.
Yeah, great camera as well. Nikon makes great cameras. The last one, the D850, the D750 is a great camera. No, 780, there we go. That we just reviewed. 780, you guys?
780.
Just reviewed.
Yep.
Great. It is a very competitive camera to the A7 III Sony as far as being a video and still camera. First camera we've seen from Nikon that really crosses over extremely well into both those worlds, and that was exciting to see for Nikon. I started shooting on Nikons. My first 25 years of my career were all on Nikon when it came to 35mm. I shot a ton of Cinar and Hasselblad as well, but that was my 35mm go-to. But, I moved on to Canon, and then we moved to Sony. So anyway, I have a love for a lot of different cameras. There's no doubt about that.
We've got a couple comments on all of the platforms saying, sounds like a good thing to join Patreon. So yeah, if you guys are looking for the link, it's across all social platforms right now. And we're really excited. We've had a bunch of people join and tell us about their photography journey. And it's been a great start. We've only been live like 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
We'll be doing live critiques there for those on one level that we'll be able to look at your images and talk about your images and help you to just see what you can do to improve them.
Yeah.
And everyone learns in that experience. We, like I say, we'll have gear going up weekly, new pieces of gear that we're going to throw up.
And our
not throw out or throw up. Throw up. We'll throw it up. We're going to throw it up. Throw it up on Patreon.
yeah, and teaching materials that you've had for
All of our downloads are a part of the package we're giving to our patrons over at Patreon, where you can go. Oh, not all. There are some I've done, like Patricia Zemp and some of the individual photographers, but the ones that I've done, like our business coaching materials, all that is available on Patreon, where you get on there. You have access to all that as part of your what do you call it? Partnership.
rewards
Rewards?
for
Rewards. So you get access to all that, which really makes it worthwhile. You can go through the things that we've taught about reflectors, about studio strobes, pricing. There's a great, the video people love and has really sold well on our channel has been how to price photography and video, and that is available as part of that Patreon rewards. So.
Yeah, and John commented, when are you going to do a California meetup? Let's go and create. But
Ooh.
actually, one of the patron perks is when JP is going to be in New York or at a couple things are being canceled right now, but
When JP was going to be in Vegas at NAB, which not going to be now because it got
yikes.
canceled, or when
Well,
hopefully everything doesn't get canceled for the rest of the year.
right, more on that soon.
Yes, soon.
But yeah, meetups are definitely part of what
Yes.
we want to do.
We're going to do meetups with one of the level of our Patreon. That's the group I really want to take out and to be able to meet with and to shoot with. Those are going to be my buddies. All right. So we better cut it off here. Melvin, you better be a part of our Patreon group because I want you to be a part of my meetup when I come to Houston. I have to invite Melvin even if he isn't. Anyway.
Someone saying, thank you for making the videos, Mom. I learned a lot. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Absolutely.
Like to see you join YouTube about lighting a large room with big windows and high ceilings.
Lighting a large room. I have some really distinct thoughts on lighting large rooms. And real estate stuff would be a good thing to do. Lighting a room. Lighting a room, I'll give you this little hint. Lighting a room is a cube inside out. So go back and look at the cube tutorial and think about a room inside out. I actually did a laws of light about lighting a room, the inside of a room, and there's some principles in there as well that will be beneficial to you. So, all right, thank you everybody for spending some time with us this evening, and we hope to get all this gear into your hands. We hope to have you with us here on the Slanted Lens always and Patreon. So keep those cameras rolling, keep on clicking.